What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me. I've been sneezing. Past 2 or 3 days, man, I've just been sneezy as heck. I don't know if it's just springtime in Kentucky and allergies, because we are one of the few states. I think, honestly, Kentucky might be number one state that's bad for allergies. I could be wrong on that one, but if we're not number one, we're up there, you know. Got up a little early today. Got me a new Zelda, which I will be doing some more game reviews. I do have a couple of them planned. I'm this close to beating Zelda 1. So, last night, I tried beating Dungeon 5. I got all the way to the corridor right before the final boss of that dungeon. And instead of just taking my key and going through the locked door, for some reason I thought it was a good idea to fight the bosses there. They're not bosses, but enemies there, and get killed. So I left that dungeon and was gonna stack my rubies and get basically a bigger shield, because I didn't realize that if you get eaten by a like they eat your magical shield, which is like the bigger, better shield. So I found out that, yeah, those things eat your shield, so it's kind of not even worth getting it, because there's so many of them in the later dungeons. But I mean, I do have my blue tunic, so I take partial damage. And then on my way back, I just put on his background noise. No, I accidentally found Dungeon 7 and was like, well, while I'm here, I'm gonna beat it. So I beat it, because you have to play the flute in front of like a pond, and it dries up and reveals a passage. And so I just beat Dungeon 7 before I beat Dungeon 6. And then I found Dungeon 8 accidentally too, watching a video. I just was putting it on for background noise. It was like Zelda, I don't know, History of Zelda 1 or something like that. And I look over and this guy burns a bush that I know where it's at, and I'm like, and there's another passage to Dungeon 8. So I'm like, I'm super close to beating Zelda 1. So I try to save my money and actually beat games before I go out and buy them. If I know that I'm super close to beating one, I just go ahead and buy my next game. So today I got Oracle of Ages, Legend of Zelda for Game Boy Color. Ain't gonna lie, dude, the shit was expensive, dude. It was $75, but I'm actually playing these games and beating them and enjoying them, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting it. So I got it. So look forward to a review on the first Zelda. Yeah, that's what I'm currently playing. It was, okay, so they had this, I do have to say this, man. They had Minish Cap. It was at CM Games. I don't know if they're like a chain all around the United States or not, so you guys might know. Here in Kentucky, we have CM Games, and we have multiple of them. So I seen Minish Cap there, and it didn't have a price tag on it. Well, it did, but it was covered up by another game, and it was in the box, sealed. And I'm like, they're gonna want like $200 for that, which it is worth about like $200, I would think. And I was like, hey, what's the price on that? Because I said, I'm either gonna get that one or this Oracle of Ages, because I've never played Minish Cap. It's for GBA. I always wanted it as a kid, but we just didn't have the money to get it or something like that, And he's like, I don't know, let me pull it out. So he unlocks the case and pulls it out. $1,200. I'm like, nope, I'm getting Oracle of Ages. I just kind of laughed, and I'm like, oh, never mind on that one. I'm getting that one, But Yeah, I started playing Oracle of Ages just to try it out, but I play multiple games at once usually, and I do beat them, so. But yeah, so look forward to those game reviews. But that's about it. Came home after I got my game and did some stuff around the house. I did some grocery shopping, needed some coffee and ketchup and groceries. Helped my mom. She's like been in a cleaning mood, like spring cleaning, which is good. She needs to be up and doing something because she'll sleep all day because of her medication if not. And helped her with some boxes and shit, so did all that, and now I gotta work tonight. Well, let's get on with the show. Sorry for such a long intro, but I don't know, I just wanted to talk about my life for a little bit. Alright, so I'm gonna shamelessly plug. We've talked about Ed and Loraine Warren on this channel multiple times. Twice, actually. I did a conspiracy cinema episode, which is like a mini series that we got where we watch a conspiracy related movie and review it. So it's a 2-in-1 episode. It's the Conjuring 1 and 2 movie review. We haven't done the third one yet. I would like to do a movie review and a conspiracy cinema episode on it one of these days. And we also did an episode, it's called Ed and Loraine Interview, and it's from a ghost book that I bought and picked up, and it's actually like a snippet. It's a full interview of Ed and Loraine, and I just kind of read it and talk about it, like commentary and shit. So go check those 2 episodes out if you're interested in the paranormal, because we do cover the paranormal on this channel, you know. Me and my wife are paranormal investigators, and I've always been interested in the paranormal. I've had multiple ghostly experiences, and I enjoy covering the paranormal, you know. So this is going to be kind of a paranormal episode, but my wife sent me the other day a trailer for the new Conjuring movie. And sadly, this is like the last one. I love the Conjuring series. I'm not super big into the side stuff that they do, like the Nun movie or the Annabelle movies, because they're not actually based off of like reality. And I know people are gonna say, well, it's just a movie. Hollywood does artistic, what do they call it? Artistic, it's like a leniency almost. Whatever though. And I didn't like the way that James Wan is the director, how he took, based off of true events, based off of real, quote unquote, Ed and Loraine cases, which by the way, I'm 50-50 on Ed and Loraine. I've talked about it before in the other 2 episodes. Go check those other episodes out. And I'm 50-50 on them. I think they did discover a lot of actual paranormal shit, but I think it kind of went to their head when they started writing books and going on tour, doing speaking tours and shit. And Ed and Lorraine's relationship is not the best. I do need to do a whole episode on that one day, that Ed was basically a pedophile, allegedly. They moved in a girl who was underage, and apparently it was like Ed's lover, allegedly, and they kind of raised her, but Ed would have his way with her whenever he wanted. And apparently Ed, another thing too about Ed was, he used to beat up Loraine, from what I heard. So like, the beautiful Hollywood shit of like them being a perfect couple in the movies, I'm sure they had their moments when they were a good couple, but yeah, there was some shit going on behind closed doors, and we're gonna do a whole episode covering it one day. But I wish he wouldn't have wasted his time, James Wan, making all those side movies and making what he calls it, the universe of The Conjuring. Because it's like, it's not its own universe. It's in our universe, our reality. It's based off of true, quote unquote, cases. I wish that he would have focused his time, money, and energy in making more Conjuring movies rather than the 3 that we got and the 4th one coming. My wife, me and her are kind of disagreeing on this one because she's like, oh, you know, they are getting older now, and I think it's a good time to quit. And I'm like, I don't. It could be as long as like the Jurassic Parks or Star Wars, like 6 or 7 movies. Like, you can keep going with it, because Ed and Loraine, if I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they wrote around like, I think it's like 13 books. And there's some other cases that are pretty cool. Like, a lot of people don't know that they had a werewolf case that they did. And by the way, I seen the footage of them interrogating the man who was like a werewolf. Dude, his face is actually like shape-shifting and his fingers are growing longer and shit. Like, it's legit. And this was before, you know, CG and all that shit. So like, and you guys know me, I'm pretty fucking skeptical, but even I was like, whoa, dude, that dude's a fucking werewolf, you know? Or at least possessed by like a wolf demon, you know? So yeah, there's like that could be a whole movie within itself. And honestly, I understand why they did it this way with the first movie of like introducing Annabelle and telling the story of Annabelle, the actual true story behind Annabelle, kind of like her origin and shit. But they did it as the opening for the first Conjuring movie. But in my head, I was like, dude, why don't they just take the 5-minute, 10-minute scene and make a whole movie on it? I would love to have seen that movie, but instead they gave us like 2 crappy Annabelle movies that didn't even really happen. Like, they just made shit up, which sucks. But, and another reason why I think they could keep going with the series is, for one, they're huge movies. Everyone still loves them, man. Like, I'm a huge Conjuring fan. I've never stopped being one. I've talked to other Conjuring fans. They've never stopped being Conjuring fans. Like, we have our own little community, you know? And we know, you know, like, the history behind it and shit. And Ed and Loraine Warren, like, they were both paranormal investigators pretty much until they died. So when people are like, oh, the actor and actress are getting old, I'm like, good. I know it sounds weird, but like, the last movie, you know, they started looking like Ed and Loraine Warren. You could tell that the actor and actress are getting older, and I'm like, well, good, because that's how Ed and Loraine Warren were. They were still fighting the devil, you know, even up until like their 70s and shit. Like, as old people, they were still doing cases and stuff. So I don't know, I was like, they should keep going. They should keep going. Now, somebody made a good point of like, oh, James Wan's quitting it, making the movies. Okay, that's cool. So maybe, like, hopefully someone else picks up the Ed and Loraine cases that Wan didn't cover and kind of takes the reins. And it doesn't even have to be under the series The Conjuring. You could name it like a new series, because apparently there's been other Conjuring like movies made for TV movies and stuff like that. And there's hints of like Amityville was connected with Ed and Loraine, but we've never seen an Amityville movie. Like, I'm a big fan of that series. I like Amityville, the remake with Ryan Reynolds. I like the original the best. The second one, which was actually a prequel about, what's his name, Robert Defoe or something. I forget their last name, but it kind of gets into the origin of the haunting and stuff. Yeah, I love that series. But in that series, they never mention Ed and Loraine, and they never really show Ed and Loraine, even though they're connected with that case. That famous photo of the little boy ghost, allegedly, staring behind the corner, like that was Ed and Loraine who took that photo. So I've always been like, yeah, a movie like on that case would have been awesome. So I hope that someone else picks up the reins, and like I said, they could call it a whole different title. It doesn't have to be The Conjuring, you know. It doesn't even have to be the same actors and actresses. I don't know. I hope someone does. So it's the last one. It bums me out. Let's see. So just what I've watched a couple videos of people explaining, and we're gonna have to do a whole deep dive on the actual case that it's based off of. Maybe we'll do an entire episode on it. But it's supposed to be like 5 years after the last one, which was basically this dude stabbed another dude. We could do a whole deep dive on that subject. And I only reviewed the first two movies, so I might do that as a conspiracy cinema episode, like actually watch the third one again and review it. And we'll do a whole episode on it. But it's 5 years after that. So this is when they're basically on their like university circuit of selling tickets, going to universities to do public speaking. After they've gained some fame after Enfield, which was the second one over in England, the Perrin family one, which is the first one. They are like, at this point in time, they are older and famous. Like, they've written books, they have the museum at their house, they've done hundreds of paranormal cases, so they're older. And the daughter's older. Apparently in this new movie, she's like a teenager now, and it's the same actress, you know. She was like a kid in the first one. The second one, she was kind of like, not trying to be weird, but I think she was like prepubescent, and in this one she's actually a teenager. I'm pretty sure it's the same actress. They've used all the same actors and actresses, which is cool. And apparently she's now old enough, I'm not sure if this is true to life's events, but she's now old enough to like join them on paranormal investigations, so that's kind of cool. Apparently she's kind of like, she's not the main character, but she's like becoming more in the forefront. And if memory serves me correctly, after Ed passed, because he passed first, Loraine kept the museum, and then their daughter took over the house and museum, which it's still open today. Like, I would love to go over there and check it out. That's why I want to hit the lotto. But the daughter married another dude who he kind of took reins to. Like, I'm not sure if he's a paranormal investigator. He just married him, but they're keeping the tradition going. They still go on tours with Annabelle, and it's so funny saying that with a doll. Like, yeah, we go on tour with Annabelle, you know. They do though. You can like they go like all across the country, and you can pay a certain amount to go check her out, you know. Yeah, so it is kind of cool, and I mean, they're gonna end it, the Conjuring series, it sounds like. So this one is based off of apparently a 1970s haunting of the Smurl family, and they lived in a duplex. So like I said, we're gonna do a whole deep dive on the Smurl family one day, and cover that like as a whole episode within itself. But like from what I've heard, the guy didn't go into super big detail on what the whole haunting the Smurl family. There's like strange odors and voices, so something demonic with the strange odors. Because we've talked about it on this channel. We've done tons of paranormal episodes, like paranormal stories and accounts and stuff. So just go through the library. I'm on like episode 425, I think. I've got a ton. That's why I tell people, man, go through the library, because there's older episodes that are timeless of just me wanting to cover a ghost story that day, like a true ghost story. And it's all true. It's not like fake shit. It's not fiction. So go check out the library, because a lot of those episodes are timeless. But yeah, it's during the era when they were going on TV shows and stuff. And they kind of delved into that in the second one, the beginning of the second one. They're on like a TV show, and the guy's like a skeptic and calling them frauds, and it shows Ed and Loraine backstage, and they're like, Ed's getting mad and shit. And if it was accurate to history, like, he'd smack her around. I'm sorry. That's fucked up. Like I said, we'll cover that a whole nother episode. Apparently, it's based off a book called The Haunted. So if you've ever read that book, or if you're interested in reading that book, that covers the Smurl case. And it was made into a TV movie back in the day. So I ain't gonna lie, that's another one that I'm willing to watch, because I think it was made during the 80s or 90s. I would love to see it, because it's kind of like a Conjuring movie before the Conjuring series. It's Ed and Loraine Warren. I'm guessing, I'm going to try to look on YouTube. If you find it on YouTube, please, if you're watching on YouTube, please put a link in the comment section, because I would love to see it. I'm going to have to Google and research, like, what the movie was called and where I could find it. Sadly, there's a lot of made-for-TV movies that either people didn't ever record them on VHS, which even that, it's like, so what, I need to order it from someone and hope that it's the entire movie recorded on a VHS, and I have to go get a VCR. You know what I'm saying? Unless they were nice enough to transfer it to DVD. It's so crazy, because there's so much lost media out there that just never got transferred over. And I guess that's when you would get into, like, hey, this is why we need to, like, donate money to, like, film preservation foundations and stuff like that, which you guys know me. I've already said if I ever won the lotto, I would become a film collector, and I would, like, start a theater that plays obscure films and rare films, and I always wanted my own movie theater and stuff, you know. I told you guys my idea. That's why I want to win the lotto. Let's see. Oh, apparently there is plans for, this is something else. So yes, there's the new and final movie of The Conjuring coming out. There is also plans that is in the making. They're going to make a drama series for Max, which I believe is HBO. I actually have this. My wife pays for it. There's going to be a drama series for Max, and it's kind of cool concept. What they're going to do is they're going to, like, this is what I've heard through the grapevine, so don't quote me on it. It's not the gospel, you know. But it's going to be kind of like, it kind of reminded me of this Zach Bagans show that used to be out back in the day, where he's a collector of all these, like, famous haunted items and stuff. And he had a show, which actually the show was pretty cool. It only lasted like 1 or 2 seasons, I think, because I watched them all. I binge watched them all. They were all on YouTube. And what he would do is every episode would be like a new paranormal item in his collection. And he would talk about it. There'd be clips of him talking about it. And they would kind of go through and tell the haunting of that object and the story behind it. And from what I've heard, that's what this series is going to be, is basically the famous Ed and Loraine Warren Museum that's in their basement. Every episode's going to be like a different object in that basement. So like the samurai suit, everyone talks about the samurai suit, of what's up with the samurai suit. Like, I want to hear the story behind that. So that's what this series is going to be, is basically like, hey, all those famous items you've seen, we're going to do like an episode dedicated to each item. So I look forward to that. And it's all like Ed and Loraine Warren based. So that'll be cool, man. It'll be cool to, in a way, we will still get more Conjuring movies, because James Wan is stepping down, and we'll be able to get more, not so much full-blown movies, but content episodes on, true paranormal events and haunted items and shit like that. So I look forward to that too. I haven't found the name of that series or who's going to be acting in it. HBO though, I'm pretty sure HBO. I've heard nothing but honestly pretty much good about HBO. So hopefully they'll take the series and do good with it. The only thing I know about HBO is like back in the day, it was kind of like, not trying to be weird, but they had Skinamax and stuff. So like back in the day, we had to collect pornography by hooking a VCR up to TV. And once in a blue moon, there would be some student at the middle school and or high school that I went to whose parents were nice enough to allow like access to HBO in their room. This is back when everything was hooked up with cables and shit, and they could sit there and this is how they made money, was they'd record like Skinamax, because I think it was like every Thursday was Skinamax, which is like, I don't even remember if it was hardcore porn. It could have just been softcore, and they'd sit there and record it and then come to school the next day. I'm whispering because someone's window's open over there. And they would sell the tapes and you could buy it if you had money, So that and Game of Thrones, I think Game of Thrones is on HBO Max or whatever. So I don't know. It's kind of like what I like, where I'm like an old punk, more raunchy, more gritty, more grindhouse-ish. It reminds me back when we had cable in Florida, we had, I think it was channel 62. It was called like IFC or something. It was Independent Film Channel. And they would play like raunchy movies. Like Return of the Living Dead was one of them. Return of the Bee Women, which was like basically like a softcore porno. They would play that like real late at night, and you could catch it and record it, It's all we had back then, dude. I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 91, so it is what it is. But that's it though, man. Go check out those older episodes, like I said. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this content, if you like this channel. I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers, man. I'm slowly getting there, My last video got 33 views, which is actually pretty fucking good, because normally I only get like 6 or 7 views, maybe 10, But go check out my other stuff. Go check out those other Ed and Loraine Warren episodes. And we are on Spotify. I'm trying to set up a Buy Me a Coffee account. I need to do that. I could have done it today, but I wanted to get a game instead. But and by the way, games, keep an eye out. We're still gonna do video game reviews. I still have some more that I need to do. I have a lot of homework I need to catch up on. But I love you all. Look forward to some more Ed and Loraine episodes, because I will do like 2 or 3 more episodes, probably covering them soon. Like I said, on weekends I'm going to try to do a different style of podcasting, because I have my computer and I'm at home and it's not off the top of my dome. that rhymed. Yeah, keep an eye out. We're gonna dive deeper into Ed and Loraine, and go check out the other episodes. So love y'all. Y'all have a good day.